So, this is going to be a kind of interesting little set of videos I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to be going through some of the common misconceptions and rumors, old wives' tales, bullshit stories that get passed around from mouth to mouth, and people are high, whatever, from decade to decade to decade about psychedelics, about LSD, mainly LSD, acid. And yeah, I'm going to compare these facts and fiction type notes here. I'm surprised no one's done this before. I'm surprised no one's debunked a lot of these bullshit rumors that you hear. Old wives' tales have been going around for decades. Decades, right? I took my first hit of acid in 1991. 1990 or 91. I was 14, right? I've been taking acid since, right? So what's that? 33 years? About that. That's a long time. So safe to say I know quite a bit of people. Now, might not know everybody, right? But I've known a lot of people throughout these 30 something years. And I've heard a lot of stories, which we're going to get into. And I think, you know, you'd be hard pressed to probably find somebody who's more objective and who's had more experience and more exposure within the psychedelic community, right? Firsthand. I mean, I'm sure you can find some DJs and some guys that go to festivals like nonstop and all that shit, but just in general, right? Somebody about my age, somebody who's been around a little bit, somebody who's kind of street smart, someone who's like, did a little traveling, whatever. Anyway, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who's better to do this than I am, or who will do this than I am. But either way, here goes. So I want to start with this perpetual rumor, this old wives' tales that I've heard since I started doing acid when I was 14. It's changed a little bit as technology's gotten a little bit better and things have changed. So it's no longer, it's about puddling. This rumor about people getting puddled. Now, puddling, for what you guys about acid don't know, it's basically the, it's a word that describes like somebody who would like, say, get a large amount of acid, liquid LSD, on their skin and get really high, you know. Um, that's typically it. It could be in your mouth, like my experience, right? That could be considered puddling. But usually, when this story is told, it's told about somebody who got on their skin somehow. The way I first heard this shit in high school, and by the way, I totally believed it. I mean, I believed this all the way up until maybe I don't know 10 years ago, right around there. What I heard in high school was like, oh yeah, guy at a dead show or a guy at a fish show, right? This is before like really festivals and psychedelic, things went kicking off, right? I'm sure they were around, but back then not as common anyway. So it was a dead show, right? Of course, it was a Grateful Dead show, or a fish show, right? Um, the guy who tried to sneak some acid in, the vial broke in his pocket and got all over his leg, and he got like super super high because he was like hundreds of hits or whatever it was, right? Just you put in the numerical you know equation, 100 hits, 50 hits, 1,000 hits, who knows, right? Whatever, however the story's told. So that's how I heard it, or the guy who got it on his hand somehow, whatever it is. That's a just behind the puddling rumor, right? Now you hear like, oh, a guy at a festival, got puddled. Oh, and if you read the comments on 30 hits of acid, there's probably at least a few hundred of people getting puddled, right? Saying, yeah, man, I know this guy in high school. Yeah, man, that happened to me and my friend. Yeah, I know that person. Yeah, man. Well, you know what? No, you don't. And this is what I'm going to tell you right now. You're going to see a lot of butthurt people in the comments saying, that's bullshit, man, because that happened to me. That's bullshit, man, that happened to me. Now, they're lying. A lot of people, LSD has so much fucking, like, and psychedelics in general, have so much mystery and um, mystique and the unknown about it, especially to people who've never done it, that people who have done it can just basically make up whatever the fuck they want. And everybody takes their word for it. I'll get into that later. But yeah, it's bullshit. There's been several studies that have been done, which you can Google it, about puddling, that clearly state LSD cannot be absorbed through the epidermis, not without other chemicals to help them. Chemicals that are not in acid, like certain chemicals, like say like nicotine patches. It's not just straight nicotine. There's other chemicals that help nicotine absorb through the skin. It'd be the same thing with LSD. LSD in a liquid form cannot be absorbed through the skin. Now, what does that mean? That means all these people who talk about being puddled are full of shit. That's a lot of people because I've been hearing that shit. I've heard that story fucking probably 100 times from 100 different people. All lying. Yeah, my sister's friend in Kansas. Oh no, me and my buddy at this fucking rave. Oh, the bullshit. Bullshit. Unless they got puddled in their eye, up their nose, in their mouth, in their vagina, in their pee hole, or in their asshole, or in some sort of open wound, full of shit. All right. Now, if they're sticking it up their pee hole, well, I whatever. But it's bullshit. So 99.9% of everybody who says they've been puddled is lying, or know somebody is lying. That's just it. It's been debunked. It's scientifically impossible to absorb it through the epidermis. Now, I don't know if you sat in a whole vat full of acid. Maybe if you sat in there for like a week, maybe, I don't know. But the odds getting it on your skin and then getting high, no, that's doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. So that's the number one thing. And if you see some of these comments on like 30 hits of acid video, some people who's the stupidest shit, man. Like one of the most retarded ones I ever heard was like, "Yeah, man, it was the '90s, man. Like me and my boys, like we had like a school bus, man. Like we had like these super soakers full of acid, and we just like would run through the crowd, going, yeah, yeah, yeah." And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that is so retarded. One, do you understand like if people puddle other people on a regular basis, whether like my experience where I got hit in the mouth, or whatever, right? If people, it's basically getting roofied. If people got that on a regular basis, like everybody wants you to believe, based on the comments on these videos, it seems like every other person who does acid has been puddled, right? And people who leave these comments, oh, it's so common, man. It happens all the time, man. It happened to me and my friend at this fucking party. No, it didn't. You're full of shit. Okay? But it's like, it doesn't even make any sense. Okay, a super soaker full of acid. Okay, let's just break it down even to a vial full of acid, right? We're talking several hundreds, if not thousands. And in a super cycle, we're talking a super soaker squirt gun, tens of thousands. That's like a fucking 2 liter bottle or a 1 liter bottle of soda full of liquid acid. I don't even know how much that worth. $50,000, $100,000. Don't know. Whatever. It's an astronomical amount. Street value. You think people are going to just run through an audience and squirt people? Fuck no. People are there to make money. Acid's not free. It's a big risk. You get caught. It's a big price to pay. No one's going to do that shit. And if somebody was crazy enough to do it, how long do you think a person would last before he got arrested, before he got the shit kicked out of him, or killed, or whatever? You can't go around puddling people or slipping them large amounts of acid with no ramifications, right? Somebody's going to get fucked up for that. Like, if that ever happened to me again, I would spend the first 15 or 20 minutes before I got really high trying to kick the guy's ass. Because that's so fucked up. I mean, you could kill somebody doing that. Maybe not as an overdose, but you could seriously fuck somebody up. Somebody could hurt themselves. Either way, whoever was the victim of that would probably be coming back for the guy who did it. And if it's the same guy at these raves, people just wouldn't do that shit. That'd be like all over the news. That'd be like an epidemic. That would be like massive arrests. It would get a lot of attention, but it gets zero. You know why? Because it doesn't happen. Has it happened? Puddling through the epidermis? No. But has it happened, like in my experience, where kind of like puddling? I'm sure it's happened more than once, right? But it hasn't happened to thousands and thousands of people. There's no fucking way. Because if it did, it'd be well documented. It would be feared too, and people just wouldn't do it. People who sell drugs just don't like to just give people away hundreds of dollars worth of drugs just for fun and potentially hurt somebody or get arrested, go to jail, get their ass kicked. It just doesn't happen. Has it happened before? Sure. Very rarely. Has it happened to these thousands of people that leave this shit in the comments? Fuck no, it doesn't. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. So that's been debunked. I'll try to drop some links here in the video description. I'm going to start debunking. There's a lot more of these fairy tales, old wives' tales, that are kind of entwined within the psychedelic folklore of decades being passed on, and currently it's going to be unraveled a little bit, because it kind of does do some injustice. It does some injustice to like some of the scientific progress that's been made to try to get psychedelics legalized or for medicinal use, say microdosing, shit like that, treatment for anti-anxiety, antidepressant, all kinds of shit, right? it kind of does some injustice towards it because it perpetuates fear and misunderstanding when there shouldn't be. I mean, I know these are funny stories, and they are funny stories, and I believe it for a long time too. But the truth of the matter is when this shit goes up for a ballot for to get voted for to see if it could begin medicinal stuff, people are gonna remember this shit. And it's like everybody's heard this shit, and some people it's just not good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie either. So whatever, just try to clear the slate, make everything out in the open. Puddling is bullshit, and I'll be on to the next one about, well, you'll have to see.